What's happening, everyone? My name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out one of the latest e-bikes from Vitilan. The one that we have here today, it's called the T7. Now there is also a T7 Pro that has a bit more power. So this bike is powered by a 750 watt motor that's located in the rear wheel here, and the peak power for this motor is 1200 watts. So you're not going to have any issues going up any hill because this bike has plenty of power. But if you do need a bit more power, there is the Pro model as well. There will be links in the video's description if you want to check this out. All right, let's start by doing a bit of an unboxing just so I can show you how this comes packed in the box and what you have to do to get this ready and on the road. Alright, so this bike comes in two boxes. In one box you're gonna get most of the bike basically, and in the second box you're gonna get the front wheel. Now the installation process is fairly easy. You basically have to put the front wheel together and the handlebar here. I also got a version that comes with the mud guards. However, I didn't actually install the mud guards on it because I find it it looks cooler without mud guards. Plus here it never really rains, so I don't actually need those mud guards. But if you're somewhere where it rains, you may need those. Now moving that box is not easy because the bike itself is quite heavy. So this has a weight of about 38 kilos. So if you need to take this up the stairs, well, it's not going to be easy because the bike is quite heavy and, well, pretty big as well. The bike itself does look super cool. Wherever you go, people just stop and turn their heads and look at you because the bike does look a bit unique. I can probably go as far as saying that this is one of the best looking bikes that I got to try up until now. Of course, that has a lot to do with the massive frame that we have here and the massive tires. So these are 26-inch wheels with 4-inch wide tires. I also love the fact they use a good brand name for those tires. In the frame here, we actually have the battery pack. The battery pack is removable, so if you want to charge the battery pack at home and leave the bike downstairs, for example, you can do that. So there are a couple of keys that come in the box and you can easily remove that battery pack. Now, the manufacturer says that you can get about 100 kilometers of range on one charge, but I guess that really depends how you're gonna be riding the bike. If you don't want to pedal at all, so of course we have a throttle, so you don't actually have to pedal at all. So you can do that. So if you're riding that way, you can probably get about 50 kilometers, but if you do pedal as well, you will get more. It also depends how hot it is outside, how heavy you are, where you're riding, and so on. So the mileage will be different depending on the situation. Aside from the massive tires that we have, we also have a mid and front suspension. The front suspension is a bit beefier than most other e-bikes that I got to try in the past, and we have about 3 inches of travel. You can also adjust this a bit, so if you want it tighter, for example, you can do that as well. So it does work well whenever you are going over bumps, over uneven terrain, and so on. Plus we have this rear suspension here as well with the massive tires and with a pretty thick seat. So the seat here is quite comfortable and it has a lot of padding. So this is a very comfortable ride. You don't really feel any bumps anywhere in the road. Alright, so let me quickly show you how easy it is to actually use this bike. So we have our power button right here. You hold this press for about 3 seconds or so, and then the screen comes on. Now, at this time, you can clearly see the screen. Now, it really depends how the light actually hits the screen. In some situations, maybe you're not going to be able to see it that well. So from here, you change assistance levels. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 5. So we'll go in assistance level 5 for this test. So you can use the bike in a couple of ways. You can accelerate from here, and I'll show you how that works. So you don't have to do anything, you basically just accelerate from the throttle. Or you can start pedaling. So the bike is equipped with a speed sensor. So as soon as it senses that it's moving, it will start assisting you basically. So I'll show you how that works. So you push on the pedal and you can already hear the motor. So when you stop pedaling, the bike will basically stop assisting you, but if you want to keep going, you can basically just accelerate with the throttle if you don't want to pedal. But if you pedal, the bike will basically assist you to whatever speed we have depending on the assistance level that we are on. So we'll do a bit of a brake test right here. So from about 25 kilometers an hour. So decent brakes. And I also love the fact they don't make noise. I'll do another brake test around there. The shifter works good as well. So we'll go in assistance level 3. So we'll be going quite a bit faster, and we'll brake from this speed. So pretty decent braking power. And again, when you wanna start going again, you can either accelerate to the throttle or pedal. So plenty of power in pretty much any situation, and the ride is also quite comfortable. Nothing squeaks, nothing makes any noise, so a comfortable, quiet ride. So that easy to ride this bike basically. Now, with all that power, of course, you're gonna need some pretty decent brakes as well, because, well, when you're going at 50 kilometers an hour, you definitely need to stop quick. So the bike is equipped with hydraulic disc brakes. These are 180 millimeter disc brakes, and they do work really well. They also don't really make any noise whenever you are riding along, because with some bikes, whenever you're riding alone, they do make noise, but that's not the case with these ones. I'm also happy to see that they actually used brakes from a good brand. So the braking power is also quite good. Now, the bike is also equipped with a 8-gear Shimano shifting system. So if you don't want to use the bike with the electric motor, you can basically just use it as a regular bike. But keep in mind that the bike, it is a bit heavier than normal, so it's not going to be as easy to pedal. But yes, you can definitely use this just like a regular bike. Now, with that being said, let me play a couple of recordings so I can show you how the bike actually does whenever you're riding up hills. Alright, so next we have a quick hill climbing test. I am on one of the steepest hills that we have around here. I'm in the first gear and assistance level 5. So I'm going to start by accelerating with the throttle. And our hill starts in just a bit. So I let go of the throttle, and now I'm just slowly pedaling. And as you can see, the bike accelerates quite a bit. That's mostly because I'm in assistance level 5. So our hill starts around here. So quite a steep hill, as I said. I'll try to point the camera up so you can see the hill a bit better. So up to here I don't actually have to do any effort, but now the bike is slowing down, so I do have to put a bit of effort into pedaling, however, not much. So if you don't mind going at this speed, I basically put no effort whatsoever. I'm just moving my legs basically. So the bike does have plenty of power for pretty much any hill, and if you do pedal a bit, no problems whatsoever. And once again, it is speeding up because the hill is over. So very easy taking this bike on hills. So as you've seen, hill riding, it's not a problem at all on this bike. You can pretty much do any effort and still go up any hill. The pedals on this bike are made out of metal, good quality pedals, I'm gonna say. And on the front here, we also have a massive headlight. Now, the headlight does look a bit like a motorcycle, I'm gonna say, so that kind of adds to the overall look. Now, I wish the bike would have had a rear light as well, but we don't actually have a rear light, so we just have that massive front light. The light can be seen during the day, depending on the situation, and at night it is super bright as well. Moving on to the handlebar, the only thing I can say about the handlebar is the fact that we don't have an adjustment in height. However, the bike is still pretty comfortable because you're not sitting low, so you don't actually put that much pressure onto your wrists whenever you're riding. The handlebar is also nice and wide, so no issues whenever you're riding. You're still pretty comfortable. The grips here don't seem to move at all. The brake levers are made out of metal. We have the horn right here, so a pretty loud horn as well. We have some buttons here, and of course the throttle on the right hand side. So out of the box, the bike comes unlocked, so you can use the throttle and it goes up to like 50 or 60 kilometers an hour, depending how you're riding and of course on the terrain. In the center here, we also have a larger than normal screen. The screen is also with color, so it does look much better than most other bikes that I got to try in the past. As for visibility, it really depends how the light hits the screen. In most situations, you can still see the screen. So overall, one of the better looking screens that I've seen on any e-bike up until now. So to quickly conclude this video, if you're looking for an e-bike that looks like no other, you should definitely consider the Vitilan T7. Now, if you do feel that you need a bit more power, even though I don't feel that I actually need more power for pretty much any situation, there is also the T7 Pro that has a bit more power, but everything else is kind of the same on that Pro version. But overall, the build quality is really well. I love the fact that the bike doesn't actually make any squeaky noises, any noises whenever you're riding. The ride is also quite comfortable. And of course, you can do a bit of off-roading with this bike as well because of the beefier front suspension, the big tires, and of course, the seat that also helps with the overall comfort. So overall, I can't really say anything bad about this bike because it is a pretty cool bike, but it is a bit on the expensive side. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.